Today we're going to be drawing llamas, kind of like this little guy with the colorful blanket on his back. And let's get ready for some fun. We're going to have our papers going straight up and down. It barely fits in the screen, but the first thing you want to do is write your name in the corner. And we're going to be using pencils, Sharpies, and crayons and paint for these, but today we're going to do these three. So when you draw with your pencil, I would like you to draw light because we're going to erase it, but I'm going to draw dark in the video so that you can see, but just remember, if you can, to draw light. You're going to go up to the top corner of your paper and you're going to draw his head. Now these llamas, they have a little, this guy's got googly eyes, but they have just a little kind of triangle head. So if you think of candy corn, we're going to draw a little candy corn. It's a triangle, but it has curves. Curved at that point and curved over at all the 3 points. You're going to draw your candy corn head and then your eye. You can do the bashful eye that starts with the rainbow, a line connecting, and then you can make some eyelashes if you want. You could do that kind of an eye, or if you wanted to do a llama head that had kind of like a googly eye, you can do a circle and put a dot in the middle. You could give him some eyelashes or her. You could do it however you want on the eyeball. Then we're gonna go up to the nose and you're gonna make a semicircle at the tip for the llama's nose. And we can color that in later with some Sharpie. And if you want to give your llama a smile or a mouth, you can either do one line like this one, or you could do 2 lines and make it an open mouth. Now we're going to do the ears. And the ears are, llamas have kind of big right ears, so it's going to be a loop. And you can curve your loop, or you can have your loop bending forward. But you want to have 2 perky llama ears up there. Now we're going to skip down. Llamas have a long neck, but we're going to skip the neck for now and we're going to go down to the body. Llamas have a nice straight back, so you're going to draw a straight line near the middle-ish of your paper, and you're going to give a little loop for a tail, and then you're going to curve down around the booty, and you're going to give a nice big llama belly. Now once you have that, you are going to come to the start of the back and you're going to connect it up to the top of the head. So you're going to go all the way up and connect it to the top with a little curved line. And now we're going to go back to the bottom of the belly and we're going to do the front part of the neck. And we're going to curve kind of a little bit like a snake, a little soft curve going up for the neck. And now we're going to work on the legs, these skinny llama legs. We're going to do a line going down. And I guess we can do a little bit of a triangle and have another line coming down. And then llamas have some knobby knees, so you're going to put a circle here. And then for the skinniest part of your leg, you're going to have 2 lines going straight down pretty close to each other. We're going to cap that off with a straight line. And then you're going to do a W shape for the hoof. So down, up a little bit, down, and up a little bit more, all the way to connect. For your next line, for your next leg, I guess on this one I just put them next to each other. I made this one kind of fat, so I'm gonna have it behind here. Straight line coming down, straight line coming down for the second leg, circle, and 2 straight lines coming down, connect those 2, and then our W hoof. Okay, now for the back legs. The back legs of llamas kind of bend backwards. So we're going to have the llama leg line going backward. And then another one to match it with the circle for their knobby knee. And then this one we're going to point forward. 2 straight lines pointing forward. Connect it with the straight line. And a W at the bottom for the hoof. Down, up, down, and up. And then he's got one more leg to go. Straight line going down. Gonna meet that. Almost like a triangle there. And then I have my circle for my knobby knee. And straight line pointing forward a little bit. The other one to match it. I'm going to connect it with a line and make my last W hoof. Now we're going to put one more thing on with pencil before we switch to Sharpie, and that is the blanket that goes on our llama's back. He's getting ready for a festival, or maybe he's carrying some things to market. I made this one rounded, so I'm going to do a rectangular blanket on this one. You guys can choose what kind of shape you want to put on your llama. So once you have this done, you're going to switch over to Sharpie. And the one thing that he's missing is his fur. And llamas kind of have a smoother face and smoother legs, but more fur on the bottom. So we are going to use zigzag lines starting at the neck, and we are going to go around. If you have a Sharpie like mine that's dead, let me know and I'll get you a new one. So you are going to take your Sharpie and you're going to go outside of your pencil line, and you're going to make some zigzag lines or some lumpy bumpy lines, however you want your llama's fur to go. I will do lumpy bumpy on this one since the last one had zigzag lines. So I'm going to go around his body, around his tail, and the one thing I'm going to do differently is when I get to the blanket, I'm going to stop. Because on this one the fur is kind of sticking above the blanket, but on this one I'm going to make it go straight because the blanket is going to be holding the fur down. And I'm going to trace my blanket. And then I'm going to keep going with the fur. Now that I've got my fur down, everything else I'm going to just trace exactly like it was, except I'm going to ignore these. I'm going to erase that later. Okay, so now that the fur is all done, I'm going to start tracing the legs. And I'm going to start at the bottom of the fur. I'm not going to trace the whole circle. I'm just going to trace around the front. I'm going to do the hoof, and I'm going to trace the back of the circle. Same thing for the other leg. And if you want on the hoofs, you can fill those guys in with Sharpie for a black hoof. Go around the outside of the knobby knee and up. Then I'm going to do the back legs. Coloring in the hoof. And up the back, trace the back of the knee. And then the same thing for the back leg. Now once I have my legs done and the body done, I'm going to go to the face and trace that. Trace the ears. And the nose, you can fill that in with your Sharpie as well. On the mouth, since I had an open mouth, I'm not going to trace this part. I'm just going to trace the smile, like he's opening his mouth. And I'll trace the eye and the eyelashes. Now we're going to do more with Sharpie, but for right now, I'm going to put my cap on and I'm going to erase the rest of the pencil lines. So now I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase the parts of the knee I didn't trace. I'm going to erase the inner line of the llama so we just see the fluff. I'm going to dust it off. And now that I've erased all my pencil lines, I get to get my Sharpie again and make some designs. See, this llama, he has, not only does he have his blanket on his back, but he's also going to a festival, so he has this beautiful colored ribbon around his neck. And some of the llamas that we saw in Bolivia did have ribbons around their neck. Some even had yarn earrings. And I'm gonna do the neck by starting at one point and curving down. And then I'm gonna go a little bit down and do that same type of line right under it. Now I'm gonna go over to this side and I'm gonna curve down this way. And repeat that same line right here to match it. And then I'm gonna do one more, starting here where I left off, curving down a little bit, and doing the same thing here. And now I can add patterns in here, and I could add fringe or pom-poms hanging down from it if I wanted to. And once you're done sharpening all your designs in, then you can go through with crayons and you're going to color your blanket and your sash. You could color your eyelid if you want on your llama. All right, now for the coloring. I almost forgot one last part with, we're gonna paint our backgrounds later, and we wanna have a horizon line that shows the difference between where the ground is and where the sky is. So you're gonna get your Sharpie and around the middle part of your paper, or you know, however high you want the ground and the sky, you're gonna start and you're gonna make a straight line across. You're gonna stop when you get to your llama. And then you're going to kind of follow along with your hand but without drawing to where it meets at the back of the llama, and you're going to keep going there. So now this is my ground and this is my sky. So now I can put my cap onto my Sharpie and I'm ready to start coloring.